A good question to ask when there's a decision to be made, and especially when there's an important decision to be made, is how close am I to this? And I find that in situations where there's a lot of emotions involved, and I think that's probably going to be the main situation, such as in romantic relationships or relationship with your business partner or colleagues. It's going to be one of the big things that can impair your judgment. So to give you an example, the situation when it's clear to everybody except the people in the relationship that things aren't working, and they can't see it for themselves because of how they're feeling and all the emotions that's kind of playing with their ability to sort of think straight. And the other two factors, you've got repetition. So if you've been doing the same things over and over again, you're kind of reinforcing this belief that this is how things should be done, and you'll end up more likely to suffer from consistency bias. And the final one is basically just about incentives. So whenever there's money involved, that's going to play a role in impairing your judgment to some degree. Like the way you look at the situation is going to influence that. So whenever, like for me, whenever I think about, okay, if I have a really big, if I have some emotion to some situation, then the first question I'll ask myself is, okay, how close am I to this thing? I'll usually sit down with a journal and I'll think through it, especially when there's a decision to be made. And then if I feel like, okay, like there is a lot of emotions involved, let's say I'm very angry or I'm reacting to something in a big way, then in order to help me sort of clear my mind and put things in perspective, and also just look at the situation in a different light, I try some distancing techniques, and these are mental exercises. The distancing techniques that I use. So the first one is I think about time. I move time forward mentally, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, a million years, and then I do the same in reverse. And I do this all in my head, and then one of the things I'm thinking about, okay, like when I look at the situation and then I think about how the planet's going to be and how things are going to be in a million years, and then I look back historically as what's happened until now, it makes whatever it is that I'm looking at seem very, very insignificant. And that helps me calm some of the emotions down, especially in very emotionally charged situations. Second one is, and it's kind of related, is I think about space generally. So I think about me sitting in on this rotating planet, and this rotating planet spinning around in our solar system, and then I think about all these different galaxies, and then I think about the ever expanding universe, and then I just think, okay, so like we're very insignificant, and all these things that I'm thinking about and worrying about is very insignificant when I think about the very big picture. And I think about like these things visually, and that helps me to put things in perspective in a really big way. The third thing is I try to imagine that I'm looking at myself, but as another person. So I imagine that someone else is doing the exact same things that I've been doing, and I would think, okay, so if this person did all the same things that I've just done, what would I think about that person's actions? What would I think about that person's situation? And like it's very, very easy to judge other people, but it's very hard to sort of judge ourselves and look at ourselves with the distance that can help us make actually better decisions. So and then the final one, the fourth one, is I'll think, okay, like given the particular situations, so let's say if it's something to do with finance or investing, then I'll think about Warren Buffett. If it's something to do with, let's say, like my reaction about something, I'll think about Marcus Aurelius. and it really helps me a lot when I've, I guess, thought about my role models, or the people whose judgments that or whose perspective rather, I would find valuable in given scenarios and different spheres of life. And when I go through these different thought exercises and I'm thinking through them, and I'm also writing down my thoughts and journaling about it, and I sleep on it, I generally find that I'm more detached from the situation. I'm much calmer, and sometimes I'll have different perspectives and a different way of looking at the situation. And for big decisions and small things generally as well, I find this to be a really useful practice. And so I hope that you'll find this valuable as well.